So I'm going to be talking about sleep. I'm sure everyone loves sleep, and whether it's actually just nice or whether it's necessary for our work. So what I'm going to be talking about today is what studies, can you see the screen? What studies have shown about sleep, how this affects us as students, what has been done in the real world, because there are some good examples, and to finally conclude whether sleep is nice or necessary. So, sleep enhances recall. Born in 1997, on a previous blog I briefly mentioned this, that sleep has been shown to enhance recall. This is to do with memory, whereas I want to focus on broader education, but this got me thinking about what could be done in education as well. So it got me thinking about how it would affect our work, not just our memory, and also why. So these first three statements are backed up by research, and from them you could just say sleep is good for our health, it's been proven. Healthy people are happy people, and happy people work better. So if you go on that, it makes sense that of course sleep you would work better. But those are just in general. We need to focus on studies that look at students and work, not just in general. So Pilcher and Walters did a cognitive task, and as you would expect, the sleep-deprived students did perform worse on the cognitive task. This wasn't to do with memory, it was just a task. But also, the sleep-deprived students rated their performance to be higher than the non-sleep deprived. So in other words, they had no idea how much their lack of sleep had affected them, which is actually quite interesting. We have no idea how much sleep is actually valued, because they did their task and they thought, oh, we did fine, we did really good, and they did rubbish, and they thought they did so much better. So it's actually quite interesting. Yeah. So young kids, so that was on students, sorry, I should mention. Young kids need sleep too. I think I stole one of these from Alex's vlog. The second example is a very good example. But the first one was done with 10 to 12-year-olds, so younger. So I'm looking about all ages now. And if you see, the first time is 10 past 7 in the morning, and the second time is 8 o'clock. So what they did is they said, because, young kids, they didn't want to get up for school, so they tried to change the times and see how this would affect them. So those kids who got up at 7:10, started their school day, at 7:10 in the morning, there's only 50 minutes difference. So then they started their day at 8 in the morning. And there was a significant difference on negative daytime behaviour like fatigue, sleepiness, and even grumpiness, which made them work worse. So there was actually a really big difference for less than an hour's extra sleep. And the second example, again, is in a high school, so slightly older, but not quite students at that time. And again, they changed their time a little bit differently, but roughly similar. But again, less than an hour, no, more than an hour, can't do maths. And they found there was a reduction in dropout rates and depression and higher academic achievement just from simply changing the school times. So teachers and lecturers should take note of this, I think. Yeah. So this got me thinking, again, this is a comment on one of my blogs, which really was actually quite interesting, so I'm using it, I hope you don't mind, about the time of day. Now, as you saw in the before example, those were in the morning, and the significant difference was in behaviour when the time changed. But I was thinking, what about in other times of day? So, Smith et al. Did find that we have a time of day preference. So some people, as you will know, prefer working in the morning to the evening to the afternoon. They just get more productive done. Cassell et al. Furthered this and said that not only does it exist, but time of day preference affects our ability to work. So at your preferred time of day, you're going to be able to work better, which again, we all kind of know, but there's scientific backing. But it's quite unrealistic, isn't it, really? You can't just say, you're going to have kids that can, I work better in the afternoon, wake me up at 1 p.m. No, that's not going to work. So you can't really cater to that in when you're younger. But maybe when you're older, when we look for jobs, we can try and find jobs that cater to that. But this also got me thinking about homeschooling, and maybe why, because I don't know about you, but the stereotype of homeschooling is that they tend to be, quite a bit cleverer maybe, or, just come in and they're quite clever. And I got me thinking that maybe this is because they get up not when they want, but, it's a bit less structured, and their parents know and they can teach with them, if that makes sense. But again, it's unrealistic in normal schools because you have to have a timetable, and it has been said that improves the child's kind of obedience and stuff if they have a schedule to follow. So, and finally, Hartley and Nichols found that not only does it affect your ability to work at your preferred time of day, but you do better or worse in exams. Again, we could use this excuse to say I do better in afternoon exams, don't wake me up at 9 o'clock to do an exam, but it does actually work. Like if you have morning exams and you work better in the morning, you're going to do better. It makes sense, but it was found. Again, it's unrealistic to cater to everyone because you have exams at set times, you can't change them, can you, for everyone? But maybe once you're aware of your preference, you're able to adapt your work to get your full potential. Yeah. So, in conclusion, sleep is nice and necessary, I think. I love sleep. And it improves our happiness, health and education, like I said before. And one last quick thing before I finish. Harrison and Horn said that sleep deprivation negatively affects speech. So we all know how Wednesday night outs are student nights and they're brilliant, but if you're doing a talk Thursday morning, do not go out because you won't be able to give your speech. That's why I didn't go out last night, it's fine. So yeah, I'd just like to advise not going out on student nights before your talk. That's it. Yeah.
I just have a little sleep deprivation because I've had so many children. I know it's like, just learning words, like doing, I don't even know who I am anymore.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid as well, I think I am a morning person because we had a bed in the classroom for adults. I just get in and just go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use your blog now to show my 7-year-old son.
It's good my blog can be used for helping someone. But yeah. Any questions? Sorry. Yes.
Were they done, did it say whereabouts in the world they were done? Because I was wondering, places that have like a lot of sunshine and their schooling starts really early in the morning.
Yeah.
So is it to do with daylight?
That's a good question. Just to repeat for microphone, it was where are the studies done about sunshine and stuff. There were, I remember this, there's one from Kenya. So of course, I don't know about geography, whether the sun comes up early or not. There was one in India, I don't know, and one in America. So there was a broad spectrum, but you're right, that might affect it. I didn't really look into that, but there were. Yeah, comment. Okay. Oh, cool. Do you mean like power naps? Well, I personally believe, having looked at this evidence, that you need 7 to 8 hours each night. But depending on, sometimes you can't do that. So maybe power naps will, I like power naps. I feel really old when I say that. But they work for me, so maybe both. I think both work, but yeah.
Do you ever think there'll be a way of implementing it? If someone is better at doing like tests in the morning and someone better at doing it in the afternoon, you think there'll be a way of like bringing it into education?
I wish that could happen, like catering to your preferences. But like I said, I think when you're a child, having a strict regime, it definitely builds up your obedience and just kind of structured as well. So it kind of teaches you that. But like I said, when you get older, I think you can use just when you're a kid, you're obviously going to always want to go in the afternoon and stuff. But I think once you realise when you work best, you can adapt to it.